What's going on, y'all? Oh, that's too small. Welcome to Get Bucked, episode 30. I'm your host, Ryan. I'm usually, or as usual, joined by my co-host, Jackson. Jackson, how's it going?
Going well, man. You texted me about 7 minutes ago saying, do you want to do a show real quick? And I started panicking and started handicapping. And apparently I wasn't supposed to. So I jumped the gun a little bit. So we're going to do something a little different today. I think Ryan's going to explain it to you guys.
That's right. We're going to do something a little bit different. This was very spur of the moment. I just texted Jackson because I was looking at tomorrow's Aqueduct card, which it's a makeup day from the day they had to cancel because the car show was too loud next door to Aqueduct. So they're making it up. But I didn't realize that they added 2 turf races. As someone is trying to call me right now, that is the worst time to call a person. So anyway, can you still hear me? Am I good? All right. So what a mess. What a great start to the show. Yeah, we are professionals. This is no Saturday show going on right now. This is back on Get Bucked. But anyway, we're going to live handicap the late pick 4 at Aqueduct tomorrow just because 2 turf races. The last race is that maiden claimer, $50,000, and there's 16 horses in the field. Obviously, 4 of those are AEs, but gotta love it. So let's see if we can find ourselves a Katie Davis, Bruce Brown get out horse. But I'll throw the PPs up on the screen. We're not going to give any picks down on the banner because we're just going to handicap it as we go. But I'll actually go full screen here so we can all kind of, I don't know, look along. I don't know what I'm saying, man. I'm losing my mind. It's been a long day already. But Jackson, if you're here, I mean, I know you already went through, but conditions of the race, we're going 7 furlongs, claim $15,000. The weather looks pretty clear, so I wouldn't anticipate any rain. We got a coupled entry with Empty Tomb and Kahala. But yeah, what were your thoughts going through this race, Jackson?
Initial thoughts. Firstly, I want to look at the conditions. Obviously, just $15,000 claimer. It's not a conditional claimer. I think it's just an open 15,000. So that kind of something you want to take note of. And then what I usually like to do is just go through everyone really quickly and see what they've been running at. And once I kind of get an idea of what the level everyone's been running at, I'll go back and look at how much speed each horse kind of has and kind of get an idea of the pace. And then kind of just go from there is usually what I'll try to do, especially in a race like this. It's not a giant field, so it's not going to take too much brain power to do that. Also, we want to take a note of there is an entry, and that right away kind of just want to take note of that because that's something that could definitely going to affect the price because some of these horses that on any other day would be 3 to 1 are going to be 6 to 5 because they're coupled entries. So that was kind of my initial thoughts, and then after that, I kind of wanted to dive into these past performances.
Yeah, I'm right with you. I mean, on first glance, it looks like the pace is likely going to come from the 1 Empty Tomb. Showed speed last time out, coming off a pretty long layoff, or rather about 3-ish month layoff. First off the claim this time for OK Cantamachi, but showed some speed last time out. I'd imagine this one's going to be forwardly placed, Jackson. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I mean, looking through this field, there's really not that much speed. I mean, the 1 is a horse that has probably the most, but he's also cutting back from a mile race, as is the horse who's inside the 3, who's another one that has a lot of speed. So, the speed of the speed might actually be the horse to the far outside, number 6, or the second from the outside, number 6, Dad's Good Around, who's been up on the pace going 6 furlongs. He's the one that's stretching out where he's been running against the faster paces you would think. But I do think the 2 and the 1, the actual one, not the 1A, are probably the quickest of the quick, I'd imagine.
Yeah, there's some horses in here that have had some previous speed earlier in their careers, like the number 6, Dad's Good Runner. Used to kind of be forwardly placed if you're looking way back. Gunmaestro used to be quick, but has kind of lost that speed recently. He was always faster, kind of going longer anyway. So I'm not sure that he really loves to sprint. But, I mean, the coupled entry, I don't know about the 1A to me, but the 1 certainly looks dangerous just seeing as he's going to be forwardly placed. And we know how good speed tends to be at Aqueduct. But, for a horse that can maybe come off the pace, I mean, number 3, he's got this. Chris Elliott's been riding fantastic. Go ahead and take a drink to anybody watching that's one of the words, I guess. But, I mean, I don't know. I thought this runner had a decent chance for a trainer whose name I have never seen before, and neither has DRF.
Yep, first start ever, I believe, for this trainer. And honestly, I take that as a good sign. I think it's one that most people are going to probably neglect because they don't know who it is. And if you're just looking at this horse purely based on the form, it's pretty good. Go ahead and click on that last race that came on March 2nd at Aqueduct. That was going a mile. That featured a fast pace that completely fell apart. You can see right there where his 2 pace rivals finished. They finished last and second to last. He made the first move, opened up a big lead, and tired a little bit late against the big favorite. That was going a mile. Now he's come back to 7 furlongs. So you can see what everyone coming out of that race has come back to do. A lot of big improvements from the field he faced. So this is a horse I'm going to be singling on every single ticket. hopefully get by with just this one. Going to try to beat that coupled entry. And if I'm wrong about the first leg, always come right back and play something else in the next race.
Yeah, no doubt. I like it. Obviously, first off, the claim for Jamie Ness. You mentioned it first, kind of listed start, but this runner just on the cutback seems to fit those second to last numbers. Seems to be a lot closer to the front runners than he is at that last point of call. So going a mile, typically cutting back that furlong, should kind of sharpen him up. 2-1, I know isn't super creative, but Jackson, you mentioned it. This horse seems to have some pretty good form. I don't know that I'd single. I might use the 1 a little bit just because Ilke has been on absolute fire at New York this winter and into the spring. So I know you
can't
don't
use
like
both,
it, but
bro. You can't.
Okay, no, you're probably right. I guess it's
the math gods defy you. You can't use both.
I mean, I guess so, but yeah, okay, that's fair. Okay, so if you had to gun to my head, I'm taking the 3 and I'll single the 3. But if I had to take 2 picks as of right now, I'll go 3-1. I'll see how the rest of the sequence goes. Unlike you, I have not looked at it. So if I have a higher price single, I can use these 2 favorites and I can single the single the 10-1 or something if I like something later. But
yeah, that's a decent point actually. If this ends up being your 4th, if we're playing a pick 4 and this race happens to being your 4th strongest opinion of the 4 races, then maybe I'll give you a pass. But that would have to be the case. I think that'd be the only time you would maybe get away with using both, is if you love the rest of the sequence. You just want to make sure you're alive to the next 3 legs. Exactly.
And that's the only situation in which I would use 2 favorites. Other than that, you do have to split them. You do have to take your value. But just starting off, I'll go 3-1-2 will be my top 3 picks. Again, we're just kind of feeling it out as we go. But here we go. We're back on turf up at the Big A in New York. We're going a mile and a 16th.
First turf race. Let's go.
I know, first turf race. It's an open maiden special weight. We're going a mile and a 16th. Jackson, how do you approach these maiden special weight fields on turf when a lot of these runners have had the winter off? Maybe they're shipping up from out of town. Are there any tracks that you look at that are, key shippers versus tracks that you want to fade? And then, what are your first steps kind of as we get into turf racing again at the Big A?
Not really any key tracks or anything, but this is kind of the case with, it's Tuesday. There's not much on. I was looking at Horseshoe Indy Little today, and same with the Woodbine that's going to be happening this weekend. That this is technically a new meet and it's the first time for turf racing. So a lot of horses that haven't been running at all. So I do want to take a look at the horses that at least have some recency, that have been in good shape and coming into this with again some recency to them. So I do want to upgrade those horses. Typically, I don't really care which track they're running at. I kind of want to just take it by case basis. And the 2 is a horse I don't know if you remember this horse, Ryan, but we happened to be watching Tampa that day. And I love this horse. I love the way she was working. There was 0 pace for her that day. She swung way wide in the turn and came flying late and lost the nose, just lost the bob. She had no business running as well as she did, the way that pace shaped up. And that seemed like it was a pretty decent field actually for that level. So I thought it was a huge performance. I think she'll be pretty tough in this spot. And depending on what you think of one of the shippers that we're going to look at in a second, if she moves forward at all from that race, I mean, you can certainly upgrade that performance, because again, there was no pace. She went wide, and that was just her first career start. So she'd be a strong lean for me.
Exactly. And for anybody that's watching and sees, a Tampa turf race for Chad Brown, and you think maybe like, oh, why is he sending a horse to Tampa on the grass? This is kind of his move over the winter. He doesn't typically go to Gulfstream. I think he just kind of likes the configuration of the Tampa turf a little bit better. I don't have his stats in front of me, but Jackson, we've said a few times as we handicapped Gulfstream over the winter, Chad Brown's stats are abysmal, I think would be the best word, in maiden special weights on turf at Gulfstream Park. But you take that form over to Tampa and they get much, much better.
Relatively abysmal, yes.
Well, for Chad Brown,
yes.
For a Chad Brown standard is what I mean.
I agree. Stakes rate horses, I don't know it matters too much, but for the younger ones, the maiden ones, yes, I do think he takes his better stock over to Tampa.
He does, which, at the end of the day, it's all about breaking your maiden. The purse at the end of the day for your maiden breaking performance, who cares, I guess, is pretty much his philosophy, if I had to guess. Just purses are obviously higher out at Gulfstream, but at Tampa, I think he just kind of likes how that grass is comparatively. So, Midway Memories obviously looks very strong here so far as we keep going. We have another coupled entry with the 1A Big Magic and the 1 Sail Away. We got the number 3 for Dave Donk, who is always the threat, dirt or turf, but this one doesn't look like he's going to spring a huge upset, as both of his runs have come over 40-1. What do you think about this one? First-time shipper for Christophe Clement, Dylan Davis, obviously very sharp rider out there. Siuni Flash at 3-1 on the morning line.
Yeah, I mean the connections are there, right? And this horse ran perfectly fine overseas. This is one if you can, I would love to see to watch the workout videos. That's probably my next step in the handicapping process, which I haven't done yet. They may not even be available, but I would like to see how she's been working, most importantly, who she's been working with, because that's kind of the best indicator, in my opinion. For this horse especially, I think if we're playing the pick four, I'd try to see what the will pays probables are like, going into this horse, because you'll have two big favorites, it seems like, in the next race, and you'll have a pretty good idea of where the money's going to fall. So you can see if she's taking some serious money or not.
Without a doubt. So this one, I mean, has certainly been running pretty respectively overseas.
Yeah.
Three maiden races, never worse than third in those three starts. Gets Lasix for the debut. That's obviously a big plus, as we saw just this past week out at Keeneland. €2 shipped in, I believe it was an allowance race. It was the first time overseas, and they both won with Louis Saez, Expensive Princess or Expensive Queen or something like that. And then there was another one who finished third, I believe. Again, first time Lasix is a huge angle for some of these Euro shippers. Sometimes they just need it. So Siuni Flash, one to see if they're taking money. Trained by N. Clement. I would have to wonder if that's a relative of Kristoff, but that's for another conversation, I guess. Number 5, Scarlet's Halo, the other Chad Brown. This one did debut at Gulfstream Park and clearly didn't do too hot, finishing 9th at around 11-1. Pay the bills for Richard Metavere. Yeah. Pronunciation, not my thing. This is a runner who had the winter off and comes back as a 4-year-old for this one's debut with Pinot Villa on board. What are your thoughts on this one? You give this one a chance? Maybe that effort 3 back looks relatively competitive on that hot pace.
Yeah, the first couple efforts weren't bad. The problem is those came in the Chad Brown bar, and since getting claimed out of there, but by our good friend Richard, hasn't been running quite as well. So maybe the layoff will do her some good, get her a little reset, hit the reset button, and maybe get back to those good performances from last summer.
No doubt.
The one I really, or go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just agreeing with you. Go ahead.
The one I actually thought was a little interesting was a 3. We've seen this time and time again that this Aqueduct turf course can get very, very speedy at times, especially when they're first starting it out. It's very fresh turf course, and I feel like this might be the one that's kind of going to go to the front. Very turfy pedigree. We know David Donk usually just races horses into shape. I got to think those are kind of just little preps to get ready for this turf race. Definitely has to get a lot faster than what she's shown, but she's supposed to be able to stretch out. She's supposed to handle the turf, and she's supposed to be in the lead in here. So I wouldn't hate using her as more of a very deep backup and keying her underneath, because I do at 15-1. I do think this 2 horse is probably going to be pretty tough, and I'll probably be ice cold to the 2, but if I am playing verticals, I'll probably have a lot of 3s on my ticket.
Yeah, if you heard my comments, I shit on this one a little bit, but I certainly, I don't hate your comments. David Donk on one of those midweek days, a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, he could certainly spring a big upset. So I don't mind that at all. If you're looking for a price at a horse that, I agree, should be on the lead, looking at all the other runners in here. So we'll go to the outside, but I mean, the 8 Katarina Rostova. I don't know, maybe the turf efforts are clearly better than the dirt ones. Might just need kind of a lower level in here. But any other thoughts on this one, Jackson, before we go on to the feature race number 7 tomorrow?
Nope, let's move on.
Yeah, I'm pretty ice cold to the 2 as well. I might look at the 4 if the 4 starts taking some money, though, but going to be interesting. Race number 7, it's the feature on the day, 4-year-olds and upwards, going 6 furlongs, allowance non-winners of 1 other than. Looking at the race, obviously, we got to identify the pace. Kendrick on the rail, first thing that comes to mind is this horse is going to be sent to the lead. Whether or not he's good enough, who knows? Our Big Hoof Energy's favorite horse, Big Hoof Energy co-host's favorite horse, Antonio of Venice, of course, referencing Kaylee Shapiro there. Yeah, this horse has come back and hasn't quite found the winner's circle yet, but he has gotten better in each of his 4 starts this year, going 8th, 6th, 3rd, and 2nd. So is 5th off the layoff an angle, Jackson?
Oh yeah, I mean, anytime a horse continues to improve with every single race, you kind of got to take note of it, because why can't they just keep doing it again? They're on a good pattern, and I don't see any reason why he can't continue to step forward in this spot. Looking at this race, this is a race we should probably watch. It's March 16th. That March 16th race number 8 at Aqueduct, because we have 4 of the 6 horses coming out of the same race. So maybe let's keep an eye on. I believe it's 1, 5,
1, 5, 6, and 8.
Yes,
we'll go full screen. we will mute Chris Gifford. No offense to him, great race. Let's just so the 1, 5, 6, and 8 here. So
go ahead and pause it for me really quick, Ryan. Just
yep.
Because what I like to do is really quick is see where the top 3 came from as well, and keep an eye on those horses. Just kind of see where the winners came from, in addition to which horses. So can you just see who? I don't know. I don't have the numbers in front of me.
I see what you're saying.
3.
The 2, 8, and 9 were the top 3.
We're kind of keeping
Antonio
an eye on
Venice
in here, but
sorry, what?
I said we're kind of keeping an eye on pretty much the whole field. That doesn't narrow it down too much, but I do think it's important to take note of.
It is. But looking right now, the one who is What's Up Bro running in this race is on the rail, obviously on the lead. 8, Antonio Venice is in 3rd in the orange out there. The 6 is currently looks like 5th, kind of rushing up between runners, or maybe 6th or whatever. And then the 5, who looks like a Chad Brown-Klarovich runner, also running today. Kind of took up out of all that pace towards the beginning of the race, but is slowly progressing back into it now. But yeah, Jax, did you see any horses getting into trouble here, or any horses with excuses maybe?
Right away, the horse I don't see any excuse for is the 1, because I know he doesn't win this race and doesn't even hit the board. He kind of cleared out pretty easily. The 2 and 8 were 2nd and 3rd. I believe they run 1, 2. So the 1 right away is kind of what I'm probably going to try to beat, depending on the pace situation of today's race.
I mean, yeah, he looked pretty alone. I mean, sub 46 at Aqueduct over that winter track, that's certainly fast. And honestly, I think I used What's Up Bro this day, if I'm being completely honest.
No,
and I remember correctly, but yeah, I know. No wonder he didn't run. But I mean, 3 horses coming down to the finish. Antonio Venice never quite got by there. The 2 was pretty resilient on the inside, and yeah, I mean, looking out of that race, I think Antonio Venice obviously kind of had the best trip of everybody. If I had to, of the runners that are coming back today, I would say. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that, but I mean, no one else in that race ran that's coming back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like they had a little bit of a trip and kind of were grinding way late. I mean, they were well beaten and really no trouble. So I'd probably be looking either at the favorite in here or a horse coming out of a different race, which is only a couple of them. So maybe we can take a look at those ones.
Yeah, I tell you what, this horse, Tafuski Island, Ruben Silvera for Rudy Rodriguez, this horse is going to be up on the pace. And we just saw What's Up Bro not able to kind of get it done from there. Maybe Tafuski Island just kind of sits right off of What's Up Bro from the inside, kind of just sits that nice little outside stalking trip and takes on over top of the stretch. This one's first off the claim by Rudy Rodriguez. Certainly has some back races to get to.
Yeah, and it's worth noting that, I don't know if you mentioned it, but same trainer as the 2 Antonio Venice, so I can't imagine those 2 hook up. And I would think the 5 is probably the rabbit for the 2. So I'd imagine the 1 and 5 are probably going to be pretty intent on making this a pretty hot pace. And isn't the 2 supposed to get the same trip he got last time?
Yeah, pretty much, right? I mean, the 2's supposed to sit just right behind all the speed, and then just kind of kick it in down the lane. Matt Miller in the chat. PHP out, bitches. What's up, all? How's it going, Matt? Good to see you. Yeah, PHP over on the HHH Racing channel going later tonight. That's myself, Jackson, and our host, Noah. We're doing the Late Pick 5 at Santa Anita for this Saturday, and there is a horse I am so excited to talk about. I can't believe I got 9-2 on the morning line on him, but we'll get to that one a little bit later. If I get 9-2 on post time, I'm going to do something irresponsible without a doubt, but we'll get there later. So, yeah, Antonio Venice should sit the exact same trip he sat last time. I'm with you on that one, Jackson. And then just looking over the rest of them, I think the only other one we haven't mentioned that isn't coming out of the same race is the number 3 Laser Sharp for John Terranova. This one's also interesting. Going to be coming from behind where Antonio Venice is, but another fresh face in this race where, you mentioned not a lot of the runners did a whole lot of running last time out.
Yeah, and this one's, 3rd start off a long way off. He actually shows some decent form as a 3-year-old last year, and he's kind of another one that has been improving his last couple starts. We see that trajectory. He's also one that's gotten a couple of really good setups as of late. So, it looks like it's going to be pretty chalky, at least in my opinion, up to this point. I'm going to probably just use the 2 horizontally, but if I'm playing this vertically, he'd be one I think I could use. And I would probably use the 6 as well if I'm going to use someone out of that race horizontally. 1, because he's better price, and at least he kind of or maybe he just mistimed his move a little bit last time. He moved a little early, moved between horses and flattened out. Now he's drawn outside. He should get a much better trip. He's going to be a way bigger price than the other horses coming out of the same race. So I think I'm playing this vertically, I'm going to plan on, using the 2 on top and trying to get the 3 or 6 into the second spot at a bit of a price in a smaller field.
Yeah, I like it. And if you check out the jockey change here, you're going from Kiever Koa to Manny Franco. Kiever, obviously very talented, but going to Manny Franco, that's obviously a huge upgrade, as that is your leading rider at Aqueduct. So he rode this horse 2 and 3 back again versus claiming level, but the time form matches up if you go to the race last out and then the race 2 back. So you got to think he's capable of something like that on his best day. And I know Manny's going to, ride him as well as he rides everybody pretty much, but he should sit pretty similar. I agree with you. He might have moved a little bit early. Maybe it was against the flow of the racetrack, but a horse that's a little bit interesting. I'll go 3-6 in here just to fade the chalk and Antonio Venice, but I think that is a dangerous horse. But it looks pretty chalky so far in this sequence, not going to lie. But, this get-out race, as we go on to race number 8, state bred, mile and a 16th, maiden, $50,000 claimer. This is what dreams are made of right here, Jackson.
Yeah, this is. Yeah, I'm so glad these races are back, because this is what we've been talking about for months, right? These impossible 12 horse fields to end the day, and this is exactly what we got. So welcome back, New York turf racing. It's a doozy, I'll tell you that much.
It is. I'm looking through it right now. Let's try and find the identify the pace. Maybe the number 3, Make Your Moment. Regime Mirage likes to Romero Mirage. I'm sorry, I forget which one is up in New York, but he always loves to go to the front. He's been close to some hot paces before, so first glance, maybe he goes up forward. Romeo Void, maybe, but he's kind of who knows on him. But man, looking at this race, this is a doozy. Obviously, there's 16 total runners as we go through the AEs here. But Jackson, where do you think the pace is going to come from on this one?
It feels like it's going to come from one of the outside horses, at least to me. Looking at the time form pace figures, they're not the quickest ones. If you could scroll down for me, Ryan, if you get a chance.
Oh, yep. To what number?
12, to the 11? Outside two, yeah. Just, looking through this entire field, most of these horses have pretty similar time form ratings. The 80 and 81 and the 77 are actually some of the quicker ones, if you can believe it. But I think the 12, showing that intent last year, they ran him at 5.5. Was close enough to the pace. He wasn't like he came from 25 lengths out of it or anything. Just kind of ran evenly. That kind of usually screams he's going to run much better, stretching out. Obviously, the concern is he hasn't been seen since, but he comes back in a realistic spot at least. And, Dylan Davis, I think from this post, is going to be very aggressive. And same could be said for the 11, who has the recency edge, was close to an honest enough pace last time. And we mentioned with the other turf race that, Donk usually races horses into shape. And this is probably the target he had all along. Is he going to be good enough to win this race? I don't know, but this is not the strongest race he's ever seen. Definitely one that's supposed to move forward on turf. And his figures, the figure he earned for that race on both Beyer and time form are actually among the better ones you're going to see in this field. And he's going to be looks like he's going to be 11-1. So those are probably the two right away I'd look at, just because their hands are probably going to be pretty forced from those outside posts if I'm looking for the best of speeds.
I agree. Yeah, I don't hate that at all. I would probably lean towards the 12 just because I know Abreu's strong off these types of layoffs, strong with the move into mating claiming. Obviously he's okay first time out, but he's better second time out. You get the likes of Dylan Davis. So I know 9-2 over 12-1, but hey, David Donk could surprise with either of those two runners that we've talked about in these turf starts, because you mentioned it. If this turf is playing really speedy, which it typically does when they take the tarps off, we could be in for an upset in the nightcap. But who else caught your eye here as I'm looking through here?
Well, just to tie up the pace, if the 13 does draw in, that's definitely the fastest horse is the 13. He's an 0 for 14 horse up to this point in his career, 0 for 7 on the grass, but very, very quick, especially if he's going to go around a ground. That's a horse that you can probably expect to be on the lead. Don't know if he's going to hang around too long, but again, just the pace influence in that spot. And then if you're trying to find the winner in here, one that caught the guy a little bit was the 9. Carmouche riding, I think, is interesting. The 1 turf race came against better. He took a lot of money. He had a wide trip. I know he didn't run really at all in that spot, but I do think there are reasons to believe that he might appreciate getting back to give him reasons to believe we might be willing to give him another shot on it. Whereas a lot of these, we kind of know what they are at this point. Similar case can be made for the 4, who took a lot of money on debut and then wasn't seen again. That seemed like he just did not handle the dirt at all last time. So maybe give him another chance getting back to the turf course.
Yeah, obviously being at a War Dancer, that does scream turf racing here. I'm just looking through to see if we had any Katie Davis, Bruce Brown team ups here for this get out race. Doesn't look like we do. Bruce Brown does have a runner down on the rail here. Ragazadoro listed at 5-1, even though this is taking a pretty substantial hike in class. Although I guess Open maiden 25 versus New York bred maiden 50. Maybe that's not a massive step up, but I don't know. I mean, this one, couple okay tries on the grass down at Tampa, and now moves up to New York. First time in the barn of Bruce Brown. Yeah, go ahead.
Let's watch the replay of that one. It says carried wide. I wonder if it was actually like took out of the race completely, or if that was just kind of cost him.
Let's see. It's the number 6 horse.
Horse just being 18 lengths. I mean,
yeah,
on the grass, that's crazy. We can just skip to the far turn. I think
you're right. We can. Here we go. 6 is, looking like 6th place right now, coming into the turn on the inside of the 4. So I don't know how wide he's about to go. I mean, they certainly went a little bit quick.
Yeah, I mean, that finishing 4th being 18 lengths in the grass makes me think someone took out half the field. I mean, we'll see in about pretty soon.
10 seconds. Like maybe this 8 horse here, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe that horse? Oh, well, I mean, he's not that wide.
Or are those 2 horses in the front just cooked? I don't.
Well, okay, he's not wide right now, but
I'm confused at what's happened there.
Me too. Let's see if the head-on gives us a better view as we go back into it. Here we go. We'll go. Man, I just
keep going. You're not barely on the backstretch.
I'm only on the backstretch. Wow.
More.
Good Lord.
There you go. Okay. The 1 is just pulling up. So is the 5. But also, is the 6 going anywhere, or is he kind of just? I mean, it looks like he's getting out before that.
He does. I mean, he is. That's a lot of paths wide for sure as he turned into the stretch. But I mean, yeah, it didn't look like he was doing a whole lot of running anyway.
Yeah. That would be my conclusion there.
Mine too. Although, if you were against him last time, at least he's projected to save some ground this time. So that's got to be something. You do have the number 3, Make Your Moment, who's for Adelphi Racing Club. I'm sure Howard Kravitz, our buddy, is excited to watch this one run as he is a partner with some of their horses sometimes. But, Make Your Moment for Mirage and Ray Handel. They'll team up. This one, I would imagine, is going to be right behind a lot of the pace in here. Those 3 runs coming last fall certainly match. Now as a 4-year-old, Gelding certainly could take a bit of a step forward. I don't know how much it's going to take to beat this horse, but I'd like to see that they come back in a pretty reasonable spot for maiden 50. So they're up in the tag a little bit.
Yeah, he'll be the favorite in this spot. I don't think it's anything. I would have no doubt about that. It's going to take a lot of money, and it'll take a lot of beating if he runs back to those old races last fall.
Matt with the comment of the day: not wide. That's why I tune in. Yeah, that's right. That's the kind of in-depth analysis you get here over on Get Bucked as we're going through this card live. But all right, Jackson, if you had to pick a horse to get you home in this last race scramble, we're just about at that time because if I read your text correctly, you had to go about 14 minutes ago.
Yeah. It'd probably be the 12. Nothing super creative at this point. This is a race I want to do a lot more work on, though, because there's a lot of pedigrees you dive in, a lot of trips you got to dive into that we don't have the time to do right here. So this is a wide open race, and this is one that I'm glad that I'm skinnier in the other races because you're going to need it if you're going to be a little spready in this last one.
I agree. I'm going to go as my get out horse. I'm going to go with the number 9, Kendrick Carr, Musha Board, Romeo Void for Amelia Green. I think this one will have a half decent chance to be at least close to the pace. And the 2-mile races, I definitely don't hate. Should handle the dirt fine. You mentioned that second off the second career start effort was certainly respectable. So, that'll be my get out horse. Kendrick aboard certainly gives me a vote of confidence. So the 9 for me. And did you say the number 12, Jackson?
Yeah.
Okay.
Early.
But again, these are just very early picks. This was just kind of live handicapping to show you parts of our process as we kind of go through it and give our initial thoughts on the sequence. I will say, looks a little chalky for those first 3. Doesn't look like anything too crazy can happen maybe in that turf race if the Chad Brown doesn't show up. But even then, the Christoph horse probably going to be taking some money. Dylan Davis aboard makes you think that horse already is pretty live. Otherwise, could be really anybody else on that runner. So looks a little bit chalky. Antonio Venice certainly should get the setup in the feature race, but this get out race, we see it time and time again over at Aqueduct that, it could be just absolute bombs away in the last race. But we'll keep this one pretty brief. That was just to kind of go through, give y'all our thoughts as we kind of go through it and handicap it. But yeah, Jackson, we'll be back in about an hour and a half over on the HHH Racing channel for Pacific Horse Players. So I'm excited to get into the late pick 5 at Santa Anita. That's going to be a blast. It always is. I got to go crack a couple beers open. I got to finish handicapping this sequence, and we'll have a time. But for everybody that tuned in, we had about 200 of y'all. So thank you for taking, 32 minutes of your Tuesday afternoon to spend that with us. I'm sure there's no better way you could have spent that last 32 minutes than to listen to Jackson and I talk about the late pick 4 at Aqueduct. But hey, it's the return of turf racing. It's a reason to get excited. So thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys in an hour and a half if you tune in on the HHH Racing channel. Peace.